I need to start by saying something. I am not a paranoid person. I don't scare easily. I have driven cross-country alone multiple times. Night drives. Empty highways. Middle of nowhere. None of it ever bothered me. Until the night of August 22nd, 2 years ago, when I drove from Nashville, Tennessee, to my apartment in Louisville, Kentucky. A drive I had done at least 30 times before, a drive that should have taken 3 hours. That night, it took 6. It started at 9:47 p.m. I remember the exact time, because I looked at my clock right when I first noticed it. I had just merged onto Interstate 65 North, leaving Nashville. The city lights were fading behind me, the highway stretching out ahead. Dark, empty, just the way I liked it. I had my music on. She podcast actually, true crime. The irony of that is not lost on me. I was maybe 10 minutes outside the city when I noticed the headlights behind me, maybe 200 feet back, which was completely normal. There are always other cars on the highway. Always. But something about these headlights bothered me. They were perfectly centered behind my car. Not in the left lane. Not in the right lane. Perfectly centered behind me. I changed lanes. Moving to the right, the headlights changed lanes. I moved back to the left. The headlights moved back to the left. I told myself, coincidence. Same exit coming up, same direction, means nothing. I sped up. 75 miles per hour, 80. The headlights sped up, staying exactly 200 feet behind me. Not closer, not farther. Exactly 200 feet, like they were measuring it. My mouth went dry. Took the next exit. A random exit, one I had never taken before. I didn't even know what was out there. Gas station. Maybe. A town. Hopefully. I turned off. The headlights turned off. I drove down the exit ramp. Into a small town. Sparse streetlights. Closed shops. Empty streets. The headlights were still behind me. Same distance. Same perfect 200 feet. I turned left. They turned left. I turned right. They turned right. My hands were shaking on the wheel. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat. I pulled into a gas station. Brightly lit. A truck driver filling up. Another car parked by the door. People. Thank God. People. The headlights. Drove slowly past the gas station and parked on the street. Just outside the light, just far enough to be in the dark. I could see the outline of the car, dark-colored. Sedan. Engine still running. Headlights now off. Just sitting there, in the dark, waiting. I called 911. The operator answered. I told her everything. The following. The turns. The exit. The gas station. She asked me to describe the car. I looked out the window. The car was gone. The officer arrived 12 minutes later. Drove around the block. Checked the street. Nothing. He told me it was probably just someone going the same direction. Probably just a coincidence. Told me I was spooked from driving at night. Told me I would be fine. I sat in that gas station for 45 minutes, drinking terrible coffee, talking to the truck driver, a big man named Gerald from Alabama, who had kind eyes and a loud laugh. I told him what happened. He didn't dismiss it. He just nodded slowly and said, I've driven these roads for 22 years, and I will tell you something. You trust your gut. Always. Your gut don't lie. I waited until 2 other cars were heading north, and I pulled out behind them, staying close, using them as a shield. For 30 miles, nothing. No headlights, no following, nothing. I started to breathe again. Maybe the officer was right. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I had scared myself. Then I stopped for construction. A long stretch of road work. Single lane. Flaggers. A line of cars waiting. I was third in line. I looked in my rearview mirror. A dark sedan pulled up behind the last car in line. I couldn't see the driver. The headlights were too bright. But as we slowly moved forward through the construction zone, one car at a time, the sedan moved with us, staying exactly 200 feet behind me. Not behind the car, directly behind me. Behind me, 200 feet. Exactly. I started shaking again. We cleared the construction. Highway opened up. I floored it. 90 miles per hour, 95, 100. The sedan stayed with me. 200 feet, every single mile. I called my roommate. Her name was Dana. She picked up on the second ring. I told her everything. My voice was breaking. She said, "Do not go home. Do not lead them to our apartment. Drive to the police station. I'm looking up the address right now." She stayed on the phone with me the entire time, talking, keeping me calm, giving me directions. I took 3 random turns. Off the highway. Through neighborhoods. Through streets I had never been on. The sedan followed every single one. I pulled into the Louisville Metro Police Department, parked directly in front of the entrance, under the brightest lights, and sat there, engine running, phone still to my ear, Dana still talking. I watched my mirrors. The sedan drove slowly, past the police station, slowed down, almost stopped, and then drove away. I walked inside shaking so badly. The officer at the front desk immediately came around the counter. I told them everything, from the first headlights on I-65, to the construction zone, to the police station. They took a report. An officer walked me to my car, followed me home, checked my apartment, checked the parking lot. Nothing. No dark sedan, no following car, nothing. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my couch, every light in the apartment on, Dana next to me, watching the parking lot from the window. At 4 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it for a long time. Then I answered. Silence. And then a voice. Low, calm, male. You drive fast. For someone who was so scared. The call ended. I screamed. Dana grabbed my phone, called 911 immediately. The police traced the number. Prepaid burner phone, purchased with cash, untraceable. They never found who it was. The case is still open. That was 2 years ago. I have not driven alone at night. Since that day, I sold my car 6 months later. I use rideshare now, always, even for short distances, even in daylight. But here is the thing that keeps me awake. Even now, 2 years later, that phone call, you drive fast, for someone who was so scared. They were watching me the whole time. They saw my face. They saw me shaking. They saw me crying, which means at some point they were close enough to see inside my car, and I never